This is awesome. This is a good way to start the day. Just checking out the new GRMN from every angle. Hello one and all, welcome to Seen Through Glass and welcome to Barcelona. You join me on day 2 of the Toyota Yaris GRMN test drives. Now the reason you're joining me on day 2 and not day 1 is because yesterday we were actually doing a lot of stuff on track that wasn't all focused around the Yaris GRMN. We also did some things in the GT86, it was all kind of around learning the Toyota cars and their sort of key attributes. So more on that later. Right now, whilst we wait for the Yarises to be prepared, I've come out to the sort of hotel park or gardens because the views out here are insane. Right, that's probably enough of the view. This is the car in question, the Toyota Yaris GRMN. Now obviously I've already spent some time in this car, but today is the day that we get to tackle some mountain roads in it. So, time to pack up and head out. Okay, let me get all set up. As I mentioned, obviously I'm very familiar with this car, but I've got a lot to tell you about it. But I do want to get out to some half decent roads first, because even though it is a small little hot hatchback, I'm going to tell you that it's really made for little tight and twisty roads. Well, let's go! Now I don't know what road I've come to in Barcelona, but it's absolutely mad. Not only is it super dramatic in terms of its views, but it's very narrow and there's hardly any guardrails, so I'm not going to be pushing this car too much. However, it is the perfect kind of road for this car, and I did mention in the beginning that whilst this is a hot hatch and you think, oh, it will also be perfect pootling around town, I think it's better out here because Yaris, this is the first sort of Toyota hot hatch of their new era, and the Yaris I think has long been considered a sort of pretty good, stable, everyday hatch. But now, in its hot hatch guise, it's almost wasted in town. I think you would see it and go, oh, someone's just got a Yaris and stuck some stickers and a wing on it. And it is so much more than that. I have been absolutely, well, I've been pleasantly surprised. I was going to say I'm absolutely blown away, but I haven't been blown away because I did read some of the initial reviews of this car and they were very good, so I was kind of expecting good things. But yesterday, let's talk about yesterday first and our on-track action. So let's remember that I did used to own an Abarth 695 Biposto, so I kind of know what supposedly good hatchbacks should feel like on track. Now, I'm not going to claim that the Abarth is the best, and a lot of you will tell me that it's probably not, but I enjoyed it a lot. And this car weighs like 200 or 300 kilos more than my Abarth. It obviously has rear seats, I've got sat-nav, I've got air conditioning, I've got all the gimmicks you might want from an everyday car. And it was just as good, honestly. It felt a lot more stable and maybe a little bit, I mean, this has got more power. It's 212 horsepower and around 1100 or 1200 kilos. The Abarth was 190 horsepower and 900 or just under 1,000 kilos. So a bit different, but as I say, the enjoyment and the feeling was very similar. By the way, those are rumble strips. I'm in some kind of national park and I keep getting a lot of looks from local Spanish people who I think out for their Sunday walk with their dogs, and I'm just hooning around in this little absolute Asbo-mobile. And that is kind of the perfect name for it, because also yesterday at the track, we had the opportunity to go for some drifting lessons with Frederick Asbo, who's a Toyota brand ambassador, but also like a champion drifter and has the best name in the world, Asbo. If you're not a UK viewer, Asbo is antisocial behaviour disorder or order. Anyway, it's basically something you get from the police if you're behaving like an absolute lunatic, which he does constantly. But yes, let's switch back the focus to this little car as I descend into one of the most incredible views. So I've got sea, I've got beach, and I've got a brick wall, so let me pay attention. As discussed, on the track, this thing was so much fun. Quite predictable, quite safe. It didn't ever feel that scary, and we were really starting to push it on standard road tyres, and it was a great toy. But out here right now, playing around on this mountain road that cyclists are really struggling to get up, it just comes alive because it sounds good, I think. Inline 4-cylinder engine, I think about a 1.8, as I say, 212 horsepower. But the most important thing, supercharged. Supercharged. How many people are supercharging little tiny engines like this? Everyone is going in the age of turbocharging. But yet Toyota have gone, no, I think a supercharger will be more fit. And it makes the driving experience so much fun. 0 to 60 is around 6.4 seconds. And as I say, the bonus or the best thing is you've got everything you would need from a daily hatch in here. And I know a lot of the competitors will offer the same in terms of sat-nav and bits and bobs, but I'm used to having this kind of performance with absolutely nothing in it. But that's because I bought one of these stupidest hot hatches you could possibly buy. Now, the interesting thing about buying this car is it's actually limited. For some reason, they've decided to do 600 units worldwide, 400 to Europe, and I think 200 to Asia. And they're theoretically all sold out. I never quite know when manufacturers say that, whether they are actually sold out, or whether it's a little bit of a sort of PR marketing gimmick. There was one more left, which I think is going to be auctioned for charity. But I just don't really understand why they've limited it. It's it was £26,000, which does sound a lot, but I think it's competitively priced when you look at its competitors, because in terms of performance and capabilities, it's right up there. It is class leading in some categories, so I think they can kind of argue the reasonably high price for a Yaris. But just make it a mass market product. Why? Is there a big demand for limited Toyotas? I'm not sure. Now, this is all to do with the new Gazoo Racing kind of branch or brand. Let's think of it as the AM. Ooh, nearly died. Nearly died. Probably heard my passenger gasp for air there. It's because we went down a corner and a car was stationary. Anyway, I'll take this opportunity when I'm not dying to talk about, yes, Gazoo Racing. Let's consider them the AMG for Merc, or the M division for BMW. Gazoo Racing is going to be Toyota's sort of in-house department specialising in the more hardcore stuff. And all the sort of, Le Mans cars, everything you think about with there has been done through Gazoo Racing. And then the MN, I think, is Meisters of the Nürburgring, or Meisters of Nürburgring, anyway, it's just all about track performance. We've royally buggered this up, haven't we? I'm going to go back a little bit. This road is particularly narrow and treacherous. Can you go in there? I think this Spanish man is looking furious. I'm so sorry. And that's what I mean. This car does, it is a bit aspo. Thank you. Please smile at me. Don't crash into my press car, because I don't quite know what the insurance is all about. And that's the thing, that's what I mean about finding these roads, because you just want to drive it like a complete twat the whole time. I just want to go through first, second and third gear as fast as possible, making it sound great. It does pop. Let's see if we can get some pops. Royally failed there, but it does pop on the exhaust every now and again. Anyway, I've now made it down. I've made it to the bottom of the hill, which means I'm going to take a short breather, wait for the traffic to disappear, and head back up. Is that the one thing this car has against it is its badge, because I don't think you necessarily always think of Toyota as making the sportiest stuff. They make sort of, very safe, very reliable cars. Even when I got the invite, I was a little apprehensive, but then the initial reviews started coming through and people were like, no, Toyota has a hot hatch, and it really feels like they do. I'm having as much fun as I could on this road in really anything in terms of its competitors. So you kind of have to look past the badge, kind of ignore it, get rid of your prejudices about the brand and accept it for the car that it is. But I wonder whether people are going to do that, because if you went to the pub, if you had a few mates who had, I don't know, an S1 or a Mini Cooper, are you going to get a ribbing for having a Toyota? Is that going to happen? I worry that it would, and that's such a shame. I hope that this is the start of a really exciting chapter for Toyota, and there's going to be more and more cars like this so that their sort of sporty reputation builds and builds, and then it will be like a car that you can champion owning. And I'm sure that will happen, it feels that way. But I'm so pleased that I came down here. A lot of you will know that I've actually missed a couple of the Team Galag Snow Tour initial days to come and test drive this car, and I do not regret that decision for a second. Firstly because it's sunny, and I much prefer being in the sun than the freezing cold, but also because I don't think many people are going to get the opportunity to drive this car, being a limited car, one of just 600, and I've been lucky enough to have a go in one. Anyway, as you can probably hear, I've reached the speed bump section again, so it feels like the perfect time to wrap things up. I'm going to head into Barcelona. Thank you for watching, give it a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe for plenty more videos to come.